What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Crossover, the first ever The Crossover podcast. I'm Chandler Wilson, and with me is my brother, Haston Wilson, and practically my brother, John Lang. I mean, he comes to all of our family functions. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, so to get us started, Haston is going to do a special about a special anniversary today.
Yes, just to give a little teaser of a little segment that we're going to do later on. John, I have a little question for you. Are you, since we're on Allen Iverson's 16th anniversary of his practice rant, here's the over-under question for you. Did he say practice in his rant over 10 times or under 10 times?
I'm gonna go with the under.
Actually, it was over. He said practice in that rant 13 times. That's just,
this is live TV, folks.
That's
so.
way too many. Right, yeah.
Except it's not TV at all. All right, well, with that, we're going to segue right into our first couple of topics here. We're going to go over a couple of topics, and then we're going to get into some segments that we pulled out of thin air that we kind of hope you enjoy. So keep in mind, folks, we are not professionals by any stretch of the imagination, and we know that like 7 people tops are going to listen to this, so, you know, we don't really care. We're probably going to try way too hard and be bad at it, but, you know, that's what you have with this sort of thing. So, first we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. Question for you guys. Is LeBron actually a human?
Oh, man, that's a good question.
I'll take this one first. I think in order to answer that, we have to actually define what a human is. Because he's not a human we've ever seen before.
That's
he's
true.
part goat, if you know what I mean.
Right. Well, I was going to say, you know, if he's not a human, not entirely a human, what other species would he be mixed with? Some people would argue he's mixed with goat.
I would make that argument.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that now. That's a topic for another day. Right, yeah.
I don't know. I think that you've got to go something extraterrestrial. I mean, it's like half Optimus Prime Transformer or something like that, because there's just nobody who can do what he can physically. I mean, there's nobody who's bigger than almost every NFL tight end, if not every NFL tight end, with the kind of athleticism, speed, shooting ability that he has. It's like robotic. It's like God constructed like a physical specimen that was like made specifically for the purpose of playing basketball, and that's what LeBron James wound up being.
It's like he was carved out of a mountain, but a mountain made out of basketball talent.
Well, yeah, and the craziest thing about him right now is that, like, you'd think he's starting to, like, maybe taper off over time, but he's still climbing. Like, he's better and better, and he adds something to his game every single year.
Every game this year.
Yeah, it's unbelievable at his age, with the kind of physical toll that his body's taking to continue to do that. Like, people don't realize he's like possibly the best conditioned athlete in any sport right now. Like,
except
he's up
James
there.
Harrison.
Yeah, except maybe James Harrison. Well, I don't know. I think James Harrison might actually win in a fight with LeBron. There's that guy's crazy too.
That guy's nuts.
Yeah. The thing, I tweeted this the other day. You guys might have saw. But LeBron has gotten better.
We are shouting out to our own personal Twitter accounts.
Yeah. I'm going to do a shameless plug for my Twitter account. But the thing about LeBron is that there has not been a year that he's been in the league where he has not gotten better, especially since his second year with the Heat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
he's just gotten
that.
visibly better every single year since then.
Well, yeah, and every scouting report on him that has come out over the years, like, he's worked to take that away. Like, you know, oh, you got to force him left. Well, then he, like, learned to go left, and he can finish with either hand. Oh, well, he can't shoot an outside jumper. Well, I mean, now he's one of the best shooters in the league. Yeah, I mean, like, you can't do anything. Oh, he's not clutch. Well, I mean, obviously we've seen in the past too, but especially this playoff, like, man, like, he's just an absolute machine in crunch time. I mean, they can't stop him. And I just watched him in that Toronto game the other night. Like, if you just watch his eyes the whole time, I mean, he was locked in on the basket from the moment he got the ball on that inbounds play. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
he's nuts. It's hard to believe what he's done and what he just continues to do. He's old. Like, he's not a young guy anymore. He's no longer a kid that you can just say, well, you know, he's one of the younger guys on the floor. He's always one of the oldest players on the floor. And, I mean, it's just incredible in such a high-intensity sport especially.
He's 33, right?
Yeah, he's 33.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's absolutely made Toronto look like children this series. I mean, right now they're up 93-70 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and LeBron's stat line is 21 points, 7 boards, and 10 assists on 8 for 13 shooting.
So he's only had 13
night.
attempts. Yeah, he's not even trying that hard to score tonight.
0 for 2 from 3, though. Is LeBron not a very good outside shooter?
That's the kind of leaps people tend to make.
I know. I just hate that. All right, we've ranted on LeBron long enough. Along with the NBA playoffs, we got to ask the question, is Brad Stevens the best coach in the league? I think, honestly, right now he's coaching like he is. Like, I think he just has a binder full of, like, 3,000 out-of-bounds plays that he can just run whenever. I mean, Terry Rozier is tearing people up. You're not going to tell me that doesn't have something to do with Brad Stevens' coaching job.
Yeah. Here you go, John. Name the Celtics starting 5 right now, if you can.
We'll have Terry Rozier, and we have Jason Tatum.
Yep.
And then I know we have Al Horford's gone. We have that's about it.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in here?
Chandler, help him out. Marcus
Smart.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Who's the big guy? I can't think of the big guy.
Aaron Baines.
Aaron Baines. That's what I was trying to pull out. I couldn't think of him.
And he got absolutely yammed on by Joel Embiid the other night.
Oh, my word.
Which, I mean,
of which, Joel Embiid, did you guys see the quote he had tonight about Terry Rozier?
No, I didn't see that.
He said about that evidently they got into a little bit of a scuffle, and he said, well, you know, it's too bad that Terry Rozier, he's too short to, you know, really get up into my face. Like, is that really the best comeback you can get? Them? The guy's up 3-0 on right now.
Yeah, you're reaching for that. 3-1. Philly got one today.
That's right.
Okay, I missed that.
So I guess with that, we're talking about Boston and Cleveland. Let's predict for that series that seems inevitable at this point, and we'll talk about the West. What do you guys see for that? I said the same thing back in January when Cleveland was a dumpster fire. I said I don't see a scenario where it's not Cleveland and Golden State in the finals again. And I think that's come to fruition. But Boston's going to give them a good series, I think. But they might not.
Really. You hit the nail on the head. It's hard to say with just the way that Boston has been playing, but they've got like a few like solid rotation players out there and one rising star left in Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown, you can say is a pretty good player. Marcus Smart, pretty good player, but like nobody that jumps off the page at you. And they're another injury away from like guys that we've never heard of, being their starters. So it's hard to say if they're even going to give. They might not win a game against Cleveland, but I think Cleveland's probably going to win in 5 or 6. It's going to be possibly a series, again, depending on the injuries and if they can get anything figured out where Boston steals a game. Everybody has a tough time playing in the Garden, so we'll see. But I would be shocked if Boston push that past 6 games.
I think Cleveland wins it in 6, but it's not a tough 6. It's an easy 6, kind of like you said.
Right.
I just don't see a way that. I mean, I could go on a tangent, but I thought Boston was going to challenge Cleveland a lot this year, and obviously with Gordon Hayward and Kyrie healthy, they would, I think. But I could make the argument that not having those two has really made them even more formidable for next year, because Jason Tatum has just come out of his own, and he's just playing like a, he's making people forget that he's a rookie.
Well,
And
if nothing else,
but next year they would be. I'm really looking forward to next year already, but I don't think this year's going to be anything other than just Cleveland coasting to 5 or 6, like you said.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're right. The really interesting thing is going to be what happens. What kind of slick moves Danny Ainge happens to make, because all these guys are doing right now is bolstering their trade value for the future. So it's going to be really interesting to see, because now I feel like other teams are going to start paying a premium for guys like Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown. If they want to deal any of those guys, they could get back, maybe if they package a couple of them, they could bring in another superstar, maybe a superstar big man, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what they want to do with Al Horford, but yeah. So it'll be really interesting to see.
Well, but he's not what they need him to be.
Right, exactly. And I don't know who they bring in. I don't know if that's even the direction they want to go, or if they, if they want another shooter, or I don't know what they're exactly after. Because I don't know if they want to, continue to play small ball. Al Horford does pretty well when he's at the 5. They can zip the ball around, and that's kind of, that seems to be the style that things are going these days. But to get back to your original question of, is Brad Stevens the best coach in the league? I don't know. I mean, he's one of the best basketball minds. I'll put it that way. But, and this is a question of, well, time will tell, because it's hard to put anybody over Pop. I mean, just his resume, the way that he's changed his style over the years.
Yeah, but I mean, right now, this season, is he the best coach in the NBA?
I see.
I think the answer might be yes. Because, I mean,
I'd say he's
Pop's
the best.
Pop's gone through a lot, but, especially this year, I'm not going to dog on Pop this year, but, the Spurs have kind of been a mess this year.
Yeah, that's true.
More than any other year.
But I
think Brad Stevens has had the best coaching job this year.
Should Brad Stevens be Coach of the Year? Might be a better question. And
right.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, I don't know how you could really make an argument for very many other teams.
Spo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jason Kidd.
Hey, the only question is, where's Jason Kidd in all this?
Jason Kidd's trash.
He is. I don't know. He's probably.
He can go fly a kite, as far as I'm concerned. All right. What do you guys think about the West? The Warriors are up 3-1 on the Pelicans, and Houston's up 3-1 on the Jazz. I mean, I think it's going to be Golden State and Houston. What do you guys see for that potential series?
Yeah, I mean, I could have told you that,
right
at the beginning of the season, but
I honestly thought after Game 2 of the Houston-Utah series, I thought that Utah might be able to beat them. But, Houston's just pulled it out the last 2 games. I mean, they've been good games, but Houston's just better. But I thought Utah might be able to give them a run for their money. But anyway.
Another coach that's in that conversation is Quinn Snyder right now. He's done a fabulous job.
Quinn Snyder, that guy, oh my God. All right.
Whether you like him or not from his days at Mizzou, he has done a great job with the Jazz.
He has done a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got I think Golden State, kind of like we said, we all knew 3 years ago that this was going to be the same matchup, but it's going to be Cleveland Golden State in the finals, and I don't think there's going to be any surprises there. I will say the Rockets have played a lot better this year than I anticipated. I did not think they would. I didn't think they'd be a 4 seed in the West, and they proved me wrong there. But
I thought it'd be a total dumpster fire. Personally, but I still think
I thought Jason Jason Harden. What am I doing? I
Cousin.
thought James Harden would not know what to do with a real point guard, but he's done well, to say the least.
Yeah, it's really been interesting how they've played Chris Paul and James Harden together. I mean, like, a lot of the time, you don't have to have them both out there because they're both two ball-dominant guards. And, I mean, they can both take you off the dribble. They can shoot from anywhere. They can get other teammates involved. So, yeah, whenever I heard they were getting Chris Paul, I was like, I don't know really how that's going to work, but they've really made it work well because they've been able to rest both of their stars, like, throughout it, and they've got lineups that work well with them in there because, you know, the defense doesn't like see that the whole game necessarily, so they've got to be ready for other things, so they don't really focus on it. So when it does happen, then they really are pretty formidable then. So as far as my prediction goes, I think we're going to see Golden State, but man, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in that series. Whoever shoots best is probably going to win.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Golden State's firing on all cylinders. I think we've got Cleveland Golden State Part 4, but we'll leave the finals to a later talk.
Yeah, I think maybe part of the mental aspect is gonna factor into that. Just Golden State's been there, done that, and Houston's, you know, up and coming. They've got something to prove, but I don't know. I think it might be a mental thing. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So for anybody listening on the interwebs that may not be familiar with the three of us, we're three guys from different locations in Missouri. I'm right now in Mound City, Missouri. Hastings in Richmond, and John's in Springfield. So we're recording from three remote locations. But so yeah, we're going to be talking about some Missouri sports a little bit too, in case, you know, somebody from like Texas or something happened to stumble across, which I kind of doubt happens.
I'm sure that'll happen. Yeah,
that's probably going to happen. You know, at least 10,000 people are going to listen to this.
Yeah,
surely.
The first one. Yeah,
this
that's
first
really
one. Yeah. I mean, at least. So
we have 22 followers on Twitter, so I mean, things are really looking up for us.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at @thecrossover_PC. That's where you can find all of our updates and stuff.
Because all the good names were already taken.
The underscore makes it seem more official, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to talk about the Royals now. A good thing we've got going on this show is that the three of us kind of cover the three main sports. I'm pretty well versed in football, and Hastings well-versed in basketball. I mean, I'd say we're all well-versed in basketball, but Hastings got basketball pretty good. And then John knows way more about baseball than Hastings and I combined. So,
no doubt.
John, talk to us about the Royals. Right now, let me throw something out at you that you probably already know. The Royals are 11-23, but they're only 6 games back for the division lead. That's how bad the AL Central is right now. The Indians are leading it. They're at 500. 17-17. That's crazy how bad it is. The Royals aren't even in last place. The White Sox are in last place. They're a game back of the Royals.
Yikes.
That's what we're dealing with right now.
The AL Central is horrible.
Yeah,
I'll start with that. That's pretty obvious. I made predictions. I sent them to Hastings and Chandler before the season for all 30 teams, actually. And I had the Royals finishing in third place. I thought they would beat out the White Sox, who they are right now, and the Tigers, who are ahead of the Royals right now, but man, there's just no way that can maintain because they are horrible. The Royals just took 3 out of 4 from them over the weekend, and they've won 6 of their last 10 games. So after, you know, a terrible start to the season, they are doing a lot better. It was actually the worst start to a season in Royals franchise history, their 50th season being this year. So it was noteworthy, even for how bad the Royals were from 1986 to 2013. It was that bad. With that said, I think the Royals know what they're doing, or the Royals know that they're not trying to win the World Series this year. They know that they're they're playing the long game for 2021, 2022. That's when the next round of studs will come up out of. They're in the A-ball right now. We got about 3 or 4 guys that are really, really hitting the ball well down there and look to be real prospects that could come up in a couple years and could make the next core, kind of like the Hosmer, Moustakas, Kane.
John, give us a couple names that we need to be looking out for.
Well, MJ Melendez is our catcher. He's going to be the catcher that really replaces Salvador Perez. He's got a hot bat, and he was a draft pick last year. I think he was a second-round draft pick. Don't quote me on that.
Give us a nickname for him. A nickname, like a nickname you could see for him, like Sheriff Sal. What do you got? Just throw something out that you think would be a good.
It's too early. I haven't done a whole lot of scouting, but I'm just right now. I'm going with MJ. I guess I don't know. It's a nice name, MJ Melendez. Like I don't want to mess with that.
Right. Yeah. Some names you don't need a nickname for everybody's name.
Right.
So then we got at first base. We're gonna have Nick Prado. He was our first-round draft pick last year, and he can just mash. They say that, I think it's easy to make this comparison just because he's a first baseman, but they're all comparing him to Eric Hosmer. They're saying that he's the sheriff, or like kind of the captain of the team, and that he will really just take over, and he has a really high baseball IQ. So there's your Eric Hosmer type down in the bottom, Nick Prado. We have a center fielder in Khalil Lee. And he's actually a little more developed than the other guys. But
John, before you get to Khalil Lee, here's a question for you. If you say somebody has a high baseball IQ, does that just mean like they're unathletic and white? Like, is that what that normally means?
That's usually what they say that about basketball IQ.
Right, yeah.
But that just means in 2003 that we were talking about the, not even Emil Brown because he had a low baseball IQ, but that type, Aaron Giles. But now I think when looking at these guys, I think he could really have a type of career where he doesn't forget how many outs there are in an inning or stuff like that.
Well, that's good. Well, things are looking bright for the future of the Royals. That's a good thing.
And this season's in the crapper.
Yep. So
I think,
at least we got something to look forward to.
Real quick, just for this season, I say I originally projected them to win 76 games is what I finished on, and I've moved that down dramatically. I will be happy if they win 69, 70. I will hope that they're in that range, because their star players right now are really playing well, and they're going to be dealt by end of June, early July, in my estimation. So we'll get a chance to see some young guys, and I'm pretty excited about it.
So real quick then, going off of that, does that mean that your prediction for our win total for next season is going to be even lower than the 69 or 70 win season you're predicting for the Royals for the remainder of this year?
Yeah, I'm thinking that next year, if at the beginning of the year this year I projected 76, I might put the line at 70 for next year. I'm optimistic. I think there's some talent down there. I really do think AAA, they don't get any credit, but I think there's some guys that could come up and have good years. Jake Junis is going to be our workhorse, and he is just playing out of his mind since he's come up. And depending on who does get dealt and who doesn't, if we have like a Whit Merrifield type to be a leader, and we'll have Salvi and maybe Danny Duffy. We'll have pieces. It just will depend on how well the younger guys come in and how quickly they can be average.
And that pretty much sums up being a Royals fan. We hope that the next group will be at least average.
Yeah,
that's about right.
John, thanks for being our resident baseball expert. It's much appreciated because I don't know a lick of anything about baseball. All right. Well, with that, we're going to get into a couple of our segments here. I think the listeners are really going to enjoy these. First, we're going to start with a little segment that we titled Reckless Speculation. We thought about calling the show Reckless Speculation, but after some debate, we settled on the crossover. So Reckless Speculation, we just recklessly speculate. It's exactly what it sounds like. So we're going to just kind of start talking, not give any facts to back it up. We're just going to start talking, probably starting with the big one that's on everybody's minds, the one that everybody's recklessly speculating about, and that's what's LeBron James going to do in free agency? You know, I think, hear me out, he's probably going to go to either Milwaukee or Miami.
What? How do you picture him going to Milwaukee?
Hasten, you're thinking too deep here. It's reckless speculation.
Yeah, I know, but you should back it up with just some off-the-wall reasons.
All right, you're right.
Yeah,
you're
well,
right. I got nothing.
I was in Milwaukee the other day, and I saw him and Giannis, at a club together. So
See, that's the kind of thing I'm
oh, right. Just make up stuff. Oh, that's what we're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got nothing from Milwaukee then. Because, I mean, why would you want to go to Milwaukee? It's a nice town, but LeBron doesn't want to go to Milwaukee.
Right, it's cold. Small market.
I mean,
They might go to Miami.
So,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right, John, what do you got? Where's LeBron going to wind up next year?
Even in my wildest dreams, I don't see him moving west. So I think I also will stick to the east. And just for fun, I'll say that he'll leave Cleveland. Whether that actually happens, that's not really a matter of reckless speculation as much as rational decision making. But I would say that I think there's a good chance of him. I could see him in Philly. I think he could go over there and slide in, be a leader over there. It'd be a lot of personalities, but I think it'd be fun to watch. But really, what I'd like to see is him go down to Charlotte. What I would love to see is him and Kemba going out there and balling, and then you could, for once and for all, you could just end the debate that LeBron is, in fact, the best player in the world and could take any team to the finals.
That is excellent. I'm gonna see your Charlotte, and I'm gonna raise you in Atlanta.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right.
That team's bad.
Picture LeBron in Atlanta. Here's why. Because Mr. LeBron James likes to construct his own team around him. And who has a bunch of cap space right now, maybe? I don't really know. Atlanta, probably. They don't have anybody that's good. Like Kent Bazemore, like, who the frick is that? He's their best player. I think, does Dennis Schroeder still play there, however the heck you say his name? You know that guy with the dyed hair patch?
Isn't Dwight Howard there still?
No, Dwight Howard's in Charlotte, so that's another thing. If he went to Charlotte, him and Big Dwight would be playing together, so that probably wouldn't work. Anyway, if he goes to Atlanta, I don't know if they have fired their coach, Mike Budenholzer, or however you say his name. What?
They would in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but if LeBron wanted somebody else out of that long list of coaches that are still available, the New York Knicks interviewed like 16 guys for their head coaching position, and they probably got the one guy that LeBron actually might have wanted to play for in David Fizdale, but they could bring in anybody else that LeBron possibly wanted. He could bring in, it doesn't matter who. And maybe Juwan Howard. Maybe he'll bring Juwan Howard in. I heard that he interviewed for the Knicks job. So there's my reckless speculation. LeBron to Atlanta. It's a pretty big market. He can hang out with Atlanta-based rappers, T.I., Big Boy, whoever, and he can be in the limelight, and he can literally take a team worst to first in like 1 year and prove, like you said, John, that he's the greatest player of all time. Assemble whoever he wants to around him.
I like that. Hasten, in 30 seconds, name as many people on the Atlanta Hawks roster as you can. Go.
Oh, boy. Let's see. I said Kent Bazemore, Schroeder. Let's see. I think Luke Babbitt got traded back to Atlanta after the season, after being part of the season with Miami.
He is not on the roster.
He is not? Well, then...
No.
I think he was at least at some
Plumlee,
point.
which one? 5 seconds. You got a Plumlee, which one?
Mason.
Nope, Miles.
Miles, shoot. Yeah, because Mason was in Milwaukee for a while this year.
Yeah,
keep
well,
Speaking of the Plumleys, where's Marshall at now? Is he still in the D League?
we're not talking about the Plumleys. All right, on to the next segment of reckless speculation. John, this will be the year that Missouri State makes it to the tournament, won't it? Why are we talking about this? It's summer. It's not even close to college basketball season.
State existed. But I was very excited about last year's season, and, well, that didn't work out nearly as well as it should have. And so here we are with a new coach, new coaching staff, most of a new team. And guess what? Guess who just signed twins from Poland that are 6'10"? Missouri State. And you know what? Twins. They bring championships. So this will be the year. Sit down, Loyola. We're coming for you.
Happy for you, John. All right.
Chandler, here's a question for you.
I'm
Could four regular players and Sister Jean on a Loyola squad beat any 5 people that Missouri State could throw out there next year?
Absolutely. Like, you're saying any 4? Are you saying any 4 people on Loyola's roster?
No, just like their starting 4 minus 1 plus Sister Jean takes on the best starting 5 of Missouri State.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let it be known that
they
did beat Loyola this year.
Right.
No, they didn't.
Sure,
That's
they
not
didn't play Custer, but I will just throw that out there.
I was going to say, I thought Loyola had like 3 players with like broken hips and 2 more on the DL.
It didn't have the play of the year, but it is just worth mentioning.
All right. Whatever. Okay, last part that we're going to do here in Reckless Speculation. Famous athletes in the Illuminati. I'll go first, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah, no doubt about it.
There's no question.
There's no
Illuminati.
question.
Really, that's the only one I got. Is he the only one?
The TB12 method, I mean, come on, that's cover-up for some kind of government secret code. Like, what are we going to do to bomb North Korea? What's the code for the missiles? It's TB-12. There's no doubt about it.
Well, except Tom Brady's probably not trying to help America. He's probably trying to hurt America because he hates everything that's good and fun.
That's probably true. Also, another one for you. We've already brought him up on this show once, but, I mean, this is, I have nothing to base this on, but just look at the guy. Like, just look at a picture of his face. The person I'm talking about is Quinn Snyder. I mean, my gosh.
Sure.
If that guy does not just scream, I do some sketchy stuff, I mean, I don't know what does. Yikes. He's a weird-looking dude.
Yeah, I got one more. I'm going to go with Jose Calderon. I think he's in the Illuminati.
Based on?
Yeah, I think, no, not based on any, just the way he looks, the way he acts.
Okay, cool.
He's just been kind of...
You're talking about the backup combo forward shooting guard for the Cavs, Jose Calderon? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got one
too.
too.
Kind of sneaking around the league for a while, just doing sneaky stuff. John, go ahead. Who you got?
Yeah, this might be an unpopular one, but it might be popular. It depends. He's kind of a controversial character. Mark McGuire. I mean, have you seen how fast he went from, his glorious red hair and beard to kind of looking like a meth addict? I mean...
Oh my gosh, John just fired shots at the favorite son of St. Louis.
Really? I don't know that he's the favorite son of St. Louis. Just because he hit a bunch of home runs. St. Louis has a moral compass.
That's true.
Debatable, but, I mean, whatever.
Jeez, John.
See, here's something that if we actually do indeed have any listeners out there, they're going to find that Chandler and I are neutral in our fandom of our Missouri sports teams. Like, it's been rough. It's been a rough life being a Missouri sports fan. So we feel as though the two of us, that we have to take everything that we can get. So there's this big rivalry, apparently, for no reason between Royals and Cardinals fans. We don't buy into that. We like both the Cardinals and the Royals, and we root for both of them equally, which we feel like we can do because they're in opposite divisions. So we don't know what the big deal is. Like, if somebody from Missouri does something good, like, just be happy. But John, on the other hand, does not feel that way.
Give me some credit. Wait a second. On MLB 2K5, the Cardinals were my team.
Man, that was a team. Chris Carpenter, David Eckstein. Those were my boys.
Albert Pujols,
Scott Rowland, Jim Edmonds.
Shoemaker. Or Mocker, or however he says his name.
Juan Encarnacion.
Before Sotaguchi, but, I mean...
Oh,
Good
yeah.
old Sotaguchi. Adam Wainwright was closing for him back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a fun team. I have nothing against the Cardinals. It is more the fans, and I will own that. I had a Mark McGwire poster growing up, and really it's nothing against Mark McGwire's playing as much as the way he's handled it since then. I read an interview. He basically said the other day that even without steroids, he would have hit 69, 70 home runs, however many he hit. I think he hit 70. He said he would have hit 70 home runs even without steroids. So, like, I just can't take anybody seriously, and I can't trust anybody that says that, because there's no way, dude. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, just show some remorse for what you did, and then everybody will welcome you back into the fold. Like Pete Rose, it's like the same thing. Like, you listen to that guy even now, there's just no remorse in anything that he says. So, like, everybody wants those guys to, like, be part of baseball again, because even though, like, they had stuff that happened, like, time heals all things, and time has certainly passed, and people want them to be welcomed back in, but man, some people just make it difficult, and those are two guys right there that are making it difficult.
Yeah, well, that's a lot. That's a lot for us to comprehend as far as reckless speculation goes. Let's start talking about some hypotheticals, and who would win is the next segment. We're just going to talk about some various individuals and teams going against each other and who would win. Let's just make these some quick hitters. The first one we got, in a baseball game, who would win, the Royals this year or the Rays when Dennis Quaid pitched for them in the Rookie? Who would win?
Okay,
John, who you got?
Hold on just a second. I need to clarify this.
Year. That year, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, 1999, they went 69 and 93. They had some really solid players like Wade Boggs and Fred McGriff, but I just... think when it came down to it, one game, I think we got him.
Hasten, what you got?
I need some clarification here, but John just talked over me, so it's fine. It's fine. I'm not bitter about it. It's fine. So, here's the thing. Is it like actual Dennis Quaid, like in real life Dennis Quaid pitching for them? Or
it's whatever you need it to be.
Okay. Well, if it's actual Dennis Quaid, while I love Dennis Quaid, and I thought that he was also great in I Can Only Imagine, and if you've seen that movie, I was very disappointed whenever it did not actually wind up being him turning into, like, morphing into the dad in The Rookie. I thought that was where they were going with that movie. But if it's real life Dennis Quaid, I don't think that he can actually throw that hard. So I'm going to have to give it to the Royals. Although, whenever they're not hitting well, they're really not hitting well. And I've said it several times. I think that I could throw pretty well against the Royals. So we'll see.
Well, I will say they have absolutely no pitching on the 99 Tampa Bay Devil Rays. I think it looks to me like Dave Island, who you'll remember as the pitching coach for the Royals. In his 32-year-old season, he was in their starting rotation. So they didn't have a single guy in their starting five that had an ERA under 4.2.
Oh, yeah, so they needed Dennis Quaid.
That's bad. That's pretty
bad.
bad.
So,
all right. Well, I'm going with Dennis Quaid and the Rays, because screw you guys. Next, who would win? Game of one-on-one in basketball. We got Prince, the musician Prince, God rest his soul, or Michael Jackson. Who you got?
John, you go.
Me? Okay, I'll be honest. Music is another thing where I am the least versed of the three of us. So I have not watched enough film, I would say, to know. But I do know Michael Jackson had some incredible balance. and grace. And so I'm going to go with Michael Jackson.
So there's an episode of Chappelle Show that
I'm
talks
going
about
Prince.
this.
It's Prince, for sure.
Yeah, and based on what Charlie Murphy said on that episode of Dave Chappelle, I'm going to have to go Prince, even though logic tells me that Michael Jackson would be a better baller. Just because, I mean, yeah, anybody who can move their feet like that, I mean, come on, you got to have some kind of pretty good coordination. And I mean, Prince, I mean, who knows? I mean, he doesn't rub you as the athletic type at all. I mean, those high heels and all that stuff. I mean, both great musicians, obviously, but yeah, I guess I'll go with Prince. I'll trust Charlie Murphy, God rest his soul as well.
All right. Good answers, fellas. Next one. This is a good one here. In a 2-mile run, Zach Randolph or Billy Butler? I'm going to start on this one. I was thinking about this a lot today. And I got to say, I think it's Zach Randolph. I don't really know why, though. I think it's a close race and a really long race. Like, I'm talking, I think it takes 35, 40 minutes for them to finish this race.
Oh, man.
And Chandler knows.
And honestly, I thought the answer might be neither, because I think maybe neither of them finish. But if I got to go with somebody, I'm going with Zach Randolph.
Yeah, I'm going to say Zach Randolph too, but I honestly don't even think it would be close. I think Zach Randolph would win by at least a lap or two. The only thing I will say, small caveat to that, since Billy Butler's nickname is Billy Country Breakfast Butler, if he had a good country breakfast that morning and's got some carbs in his system, he might be able to surprise a few people. I saw him.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that close either.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Zach Randolph is going to, I think, kind of wipe the floor with Billy Butler. And I love Billy Butler. He did a lot for the Royals. But, I mean, Zach Randolph is playing basketball. And, like, I'm looking at this year, he averaged 25 minutes a game this year, compared to Billy Butler, hasn't played since 2016 and was a DH.
Right.
So, like, there's just not the same. And they're the same weight, not to mention Zach Randolph has 9 inches on him. So, you know.
The strides are going to be way bigger.
Right.
Yep.
Like, I just don't think that Billy Butler has trained for a 2 mile since ever. So, not
right.
that Zach Randolph has, but I just think he's got a little bit more of a, aerobic base.
That's true. But remember, I think it was the playoffs in 2015. Watch Billy Butler stretch a single into a double that most people would have had standing up or maybe even a triple. But by golly, he hustled. And
2014, he stole a base out of John Lester.
I remember when he stole that base. That was insane. I was like, there is no way the Royals are losing this game because Billy Butler just stole a base.
That's exactly right.
It was terrific. All right,
I thought
next
they may
one.
never lose a game ever again. Hold on, I got a follow-up question to that. So since we're all pretty much unanimous on Zach Randolph, here's a better, maybe an even better question. So what if we had Billy Butler versus Bartolo Colon in a 2-mile run?
I'm going with Billy.
Yeah, Billy, what do you think, John?
Are we talking Billy Butler now or Billy Butler in his prime?
Billy Butler
both
now.
Both of them right now.
Bartolo Colon right now.
You know, I just haven't seen Billy Butler. I just don't know that he's gotten off the couch since he was.
He might have ballooned up.
I mean, he's listed at 6'2", 260 in 2016. So, like, and Bartolo Colon, did you see him outrun D. Gordon to the base the other day? Or
That's
was that just
true.
me?
But that's not distance.
No, you're right, but it's something.
It's something, yeah.
If they walk a mile and, plus 1,500 meters, I'm taking Bartolo in the last 100, and I think that might be how it plays out.
Right, yeah, I mean, Usain Bolt's still going to beat your average college miler in a mile.
Right. Well, those are good questions. Last one we got for who would win. In a 1.5 mile race, we got, would Haston win riding Justify? Justify was the Kentucky Derby winner. Me on a bicycle or John on foot? Some context, John was a distance runner in high school, made state a few years. Never made the podium, but he's pretty good. Never made the podium. So some things to consider here. Like the obvious answer seems like Haston riding a horse, but also Haston has no idea to ride a horse. So does he get it figured out in enough time to beat me on a bicycle or John on foot? I'm not gonna lie. I think
consider is Justify would easily win, but would Haston stay on him the whole time? Because watching those horses run, it's difficult to stay on the horse.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and you got to realize those jockeys. I mean, my goodness, they're like 5'4", 5'5". I mean, they are small dudes, and I'm 6'2", so I don't think I'd have a very easy time with that at all.
I'm gonna put my money on myself here. I think I win on the bicycle.
What kind of
for me, what it really comes down to is I know it would have about 9 to 10 minutes for how long it would take me to run that, and so it comes down to, can Chandler bike that in 9 to 10 minutes? And it comes down to surface. If we're on a dirt track like a horse track, I like my chances, honestly.
Oh yeah, I agree. The surface definitely makes a difference.
Then I think he's got it pretty locked down. Because I really just don't think Haston can figure out how to ride a horse of that caliber in 10 minutes.
Well, see, here's the real question: is I'm gonna win, and because the horse already knows how to run around the track. Like, it does this like every single day. And yeah, it's probably going to be a little weird. It might be a little slower with me on it, and I'm not going to do a good job with it. But like, let's be honest, the jockeys get all the credit, but do they? I mean, I know they do stuff, but like, are they really responsible for the performance of the horse? Like, I don't think so. I think that Justify is perfectly capable of running around the track, even at a trot for him. It's still going to absolutely destroy you guys, even if it just kind of gallops or whatever enough to keep me on there.
But I don't think you stay on the horse.
Yeah, that's really what I'm thinking.
I'm putting my money on myself.
That could be. Yeah, the last time that I was on a mule, I got bucked off, and those are supposed to be easier to ride than a horse. So
it's true.
There you go.
Well, that's enough of that. Next, we're going to go into a segment that we'll probably do frequently called Starting Fives. And this is just, we're going to pick a topic and pick what our starting five for a basketball game would be from this topic. And we had a pretty good one to start out with. We're doing breakfast food. So what are your guys' starting five of breakfast foods? John, you want to take this?
Yeah, I'll take it first. Starting at point guard, I'm going with just some fried eggs. Because I really see them as the distributors. They kind of spread the taste out over the whole plate. My shooting guard, it's a real scorer. It's what you're going to go to if you need a bucket, and it's going to knock it out of the park. It's going to be French toast. Your three, I'm going with hash browns. Again, it's a good scorer, but it also plays pretty good defense. You know what you're going to get out of it. Pretty predictable. I got a bruiser at 4. A nice hearty waffle. And 5, it's really down there when you really need some good rebounds, a nice punch in the gut. It's your oatmeal. And that might not be a super popular choice, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to do well. And
yeah, oatmeal does the dirty work. It's true.
Yeah. For a 6-man, I'm just going with basic fruit. If you need a nice pick-me-up off the bench.
Boo!
Shooter off the bench is going to be your leftover pie, and your head coach is milk.
All right, I'm going to go next. John, I like your list. I'll go ahead and start by saying, for coach, I also had milk.
Okay,
milk was my coach. The first thing I put, whenever I got to think about it, the very first thing I put was at the 4, the power forward is an omelet. Because an omelet is versatile, and it's hearty, and it can be whatever you need it to be. It can be a stretch 4, or it can, bang down low. An omelet can really do whatever you need it to do. So that was definitely a 4 for me. My point guard, I also had the egg. I didn't get into fried or scrambled or anything like that. I just said the egg. It's a staple. It's essential, and it's reliable. That's what you want in a point guard. Shooting guard, I went with Bacon. You know, Bacon's always going to make some noise. And, you know, you also kind of know what you're going to get. And even when Bacon has a bad performance, it's still going to be pretty solid. So I think Bacon's a good 2. For the 3, I went with a big lineup. My 3, 4, and 5 are big. I mean, really some serious carbs. For my 3, I went with the waffle. John, that's what you had at your 4. But I think the waffle's a good 3. You know, you can also do a lot of stuff with a waffle. It's you know, you can add some flair if you need to, but it can just be your basic, you know, get the job done, straightforward butter and syrup waffle. You know, it can be whatever you need. 4 had the omelet, talked about that. At the 5, I had the pancake. It's, you know, the biggest bruiser, most filling. You know, it's what you save for last, and it's gonna really throw the knockout punch to finish off your breakfast. So I definitely went with the pancake. Like I said, for Coach, I had milk, and my 6th man, I had to show love to my breakfast every day for my entire life. 6th man is the Pop-Tart.
Man, Chandler, you took so many ideas that I had, but I will say I like that lineup. It's going to be similar to mine. The only difference and the caveat for me here is that it's just one of those foods for me, and as you guys know, but all of our 3 listeners out there may not know this, is that I got sick on pancakes whenever I was really young, so I can't eat them anymore. They make my stomach turn, just the smell of them, and usually like waffles and French toast are kind of in that syrupy, you know, baked bread category. I don't know, I can't do that for some
and
reason.
We never got to have pancakes when I was little, and it ruined my childhood. Go on.
And so I had to go with foods that were not those. So I'm going to say for my point guard and my 2 shooting guards, in no particular order, because I like them to be versatile, and I'll explain that here in a second. I have bacon, sausage, and eggs. Those are my first 3, and I like those because all 3 of those can play any position, and what I mean by that is you can have all 3 of those rolled up into an omelet. They can give you anything that you want out of those combinations. I did not include the omelet as its own breakfast food just because I felt like it was made up of other breakfast foods, so I didn't know if we could go with that or not. I think for my big men down low, I think I've got to go with toast. And it's, you know, it's just a classic, hard work, get you some rebounds, and then biscuits and gravy. You know, it's kind of like biscuits and gravy are like Dwight Howard in his prime. You know, like sometimes it's really, really, really good. There's a few times where it's really bad, but you deal with those times just because, you know, most of the time you're getting something pretty darn good. Also, I was going to say that my 6th man, it's got to be the Pop-Tart. I mean, the Pop-Tart's like the Swaggy P, Nick Young kind of pick, maybe J.R. Smith type that comes off the bench, can really light it up. Sometimes they're a defensive liability. The effort's not always there. Sometimes you really need something to fill you up, and Pop-Tarts just don't quite get it done. But, man, they can be a nice supplement, nice rotational piece there to your breakfast. And then for Coach, I got to go Greg Popovich. I mean, he just really knows how to manage a team. So.
All right, good stuff, fellas. I really like biscuits and gravy at the 5. That's it's a power move. So that's starting 5s for you.
The analogy.
Yeah, that was good stuff. That's starting 5s. We'll have a new starting 5 for you every now and then. All right, we're gonna finish this up here with our last segment called Over Unders. Here's what we do: we pick a topic either in sports or something else, and we set a line, so a number line. This is how it works in Vegas. And then we pick over or under that. So the first one
we have read.
Or so we have seen on the interwebs. First over under, Royals win total. The line's at 67.5. Hasten, you got over or under?
Oh man, every part of me wants to go over, but gosh, I just don't think they have the relief pitching to go over it. I mean, they're playing well right now, and the pitching's kind of looking a little bit better, and they've got some bats going. I'll go over, just because I have too much faith.
I'm going over too. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going over. That's my choice. I'm not going to.
Are these actual Vegas lines, or are these just lines that we came up with arbitrarily?
I think this is 67.5 is what John came up with. All right, John, I'll let you go now.
Really arbitrary number that I came up with. And I have to say, where Haston really wanted to go over but really thought about going under, I'm really wanting to go under, but I have to go over as well. What it really comes down to for me is they're going to trade all their horses, but they're going to play the worst division in baseball about 70% of the time or whatever. I think they can carve out about 60 more wins. So I'm really hoping that they can, get to 71. 71, that would be 60 more wins, and, get a nice draft pick and call it a good season.
All right, I like that. Next one, we got combined career titles for Harden, Westbrook, and Chris Paul. So those three guys combined, are they going to win over or under 1.5 titles? And keep in mind, if Harden and Chris Paul win one together, then they're over that line because they would have combined 2 championships. Right. So over under 1.5 titles for Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Chris Paul. I'm going under. I think maybe one of them gets one, but I don't think so. I'm going under.
What say you, John?
I'm going under as well. I think James Harden is the most likely to get one, but I think it's going to be after the time of CP3, and I don't think he'll be on the same team, and I just don't picture Russell Westbrook ever getting one.
See, here's the question we really need to answer. Are the Rockets going to keep what they've got together if it doesn't work out for the next 2 seasons? Are they going to keep it together long enough to possibly see the demise of the Warriors? Because, it's one of those things. They just can't keep everybody financially forever. Like, that's the whole question here. Or is there another team that rises up, like New Orleans? They're starting to think maybe kind of has a formula to killing the Warriors. So I don't know. But here's what I'm going to say on this. Russell Westbrook will never win a title. Not ever. I don't think he has a chance, and I don't think that he really cares. I think that he just wants to get his numbers, get his MVP, and get out of there. With all that being said, I think I'm also going to take the under because I just don't see the Rockets. I don't think that they're going to get past the Warriors with as long as the Hampton 5 or the Death lineup or whatever they want to call it is intact. I just don't see them getting over that hurdle.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right, so last one we got. Total months that we do this podcast before we give up. The line is 2.5 months. 2.5 months. So the under's 2-ish months, the over's 3-ish months. What do you guys got? Before we just give up or lose interest or it's not worth our time anymore. Total months. Line's 2.5.
I'll go first.
So
3 months from now, we're going to be in August, mid-August, and, school's going to be getting started again. I think it'll be difficult, but I really think we'll get it done. I'll go over.
Yeah, once a week. It's not like we're doing this every day. It's not a huge time commitment. Again, it's kind of like the Royals win total. Every part of me wants to go over because I've had fun doing this first one. My rational side thinks, I don't know. I get pretty busy, and then this is not going to be a priority. I'll say over. With all that being said, I think we can make it at least 3 months.
I'm going under. I'm realistic. We're going to lose interest.
That's a producer and engineer, gentlemen.
I hope not. But 3 months from today, I'm going to be on a beach in Mexico on my honeymoon. So I'm not going to really be thinking about this. You guys will be able to do it on your own, maybe. I don't know.
We'll get it with a guest host.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll
there
be
we
good.
go.
That'll be good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna take the under. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't see us doing this for very long. But
Well,
you know,
to be
I hope I'm
honest,
wrong.
I mean, it's kind of gonna go as long as you say it goes, because you're the one that's actually producing it and cutting the sound and doing all that stuff. So I mean, it's kind of up to
that's
you.
true.
With you're the glue that's holding us together. So,
I mean, honestly, we're going to be talking about sports regardless. It's just whether or not we go to the trouble of recording it and putting it on the internet.
That's very true. That's a great
yeah.
point. So,
And,
all right.
and if
Well,
the
that,
women in our lives and the other commitments that we have don't keep us, those things could keep us from doing it for an hour and a half or however long it takes every week.
yeah, we talked a really long time. We've been
That's
talking
the
for an
question.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry
We're
about that,
playing on
guys.
like 30 minutes. I'm sure that nobody's listening at this point.
Oh,
No,
I would
I
have quit
don't
a long
think-
time ago.
I don't think anybody's going to make it to the end. But if you did make it to the end, we're going to give some shout-outs right now. Just to some people that we think deserve a shout-out to wrap up our show. My shout-out's going to Travis Dimmitt. He is director of the Wesley Center at Northwest Missouri State, and he's a cool dude, and I'm giving him a shout-out because he has liked every single tweet that our Twitter account at _PC has put out, and really appreciate your
It's
support, Travis.
wrong. It's _crossover PC.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
No, it's not.
You're wrong
It
about
100%
this.
is.
I'm pretty sure I'm right because I think I changed it.
Oh.
Well, it wasn't
But like I
that
changed
yesterday.
it. I changed it right as we got going. It's the _PC.
Okay.
That's our Twitter handle
For sure.
for sure. The
Right.
_PC.
Okay. Well, we're just rambling right now, so I'll hurry up and give my shout out here. My shout out is going out to our moms because probably
Dude, come on.
they
I was going to say that. We got both of our shout-outs.
because probably they are the only ones that are still listening at this point, so they deserve a shout out. Also, I will say to give John a moment here to think of a new shout out before we wrap up. I just want to say that if you actually did make it to the end of this podcast and you have listened to the whole thing, make sure to tell us on Twitter that you have listened, and there's a good chance that you will be in our shout out for the next show. Also, if you have something that you want to sponsor, like a program that you're doing, a place that you work, whatever that might be, we can shout that out if you are willing to listen to our entire podcast.
Hason's already trying to make money off this. I
I'm-
will. Yeah, well, I feel you. I will add to that. If you are listening to this and you're familiar with us on Twitter, or honestly, we're gonna put this on SoundCloud. I don't even know if you can comment things on SoundCloud, but anyway, if there's something you think would be a good idea for us to talk about, for one of our segments, we would love to hear some ideas. We'd love to hear from you. We will cater to our adoring public.
That's right.
Yeah,
We will
all right,
go
John.
further than any other show does for their fans. I can promise that. Because we'll
That's
have
true.
so few of them, it'll be much easier.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was going to say our mothers because they're the only ones listening probably, as well as it's Mother's Day this weekend. So happy Mother's Day to both of our mothers. And I will also say, as my real shout out, I guess, since Jason stole mine, I'll give it out to my grandpa because I think he's probably about the only other person in the world that would be listening. So.
All right. Shout out to all those people. I hope Travis listens to this. Man, he'll be so pumped when he gets this shout out at the end. That'd be awesome. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up. We'll try to not talk for so long next time because, honestly, why would you want to listen to us talk for an hour? But if you listen to us, thanks for listening. We really hope you enjoyed it. And I think we'll do it again next week. What do you say, guys?
Yep.
Let's do it.
We'll be back.
All right. Well, folks, thanks for listening to the crossover, and we'll see you next time.